Hi, I'm Vince Molinari, and welcome to Fintech TV. We're broadcasting from the iconic New York Stock Exchange, and I'd like to welcome back Deron Guidrey and his co-founder, Collin Castellaw, both, as I say, co-founders of PlayersTV. Deron, welcome back. Collin, great to have you here in New York at the New York Stock Exchange. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Well, a lot I want to cover, but I want to jump in first, talk a little bit about your background. We had the benefit of being with Deron in the previous interview. Kind of this eclectic, different background from, I think, school teacher. Tell us a little bit about the journey and the point of which you guys became partners.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a wild ride. So I started as a junior high and high school art teacher back in like a rural town in Idaho. Shout out, Notice Pirates. And essentially, you know, really wanted to make sports and basketball my full-time gig. Didn't know if I was going to want to be a coach or, you know, essentially coach AAU, high school, whatever it is. And then really kind of got into the content name of the game when I started my online basketball training company called Shot Mechanics. So I ended up growing that into a big YouTube channel, about 1.3 million subscribers and 150 million lifetime video views. Yeah, and so I had a really fun run, and that's where I met Deron the first time, brought him on board. He helped monetize the thing. We did a lot of really cool brand partnerships together throughout the time, and it was really awesome because it was kind of like my PhD in online business, but also an opportunity to help a lot of kids around the world. So that was really fun. But then once I started kind of going, I fell less in love with basketball training and education and more in love with the content production side of the equation. So I started doing a lot of consulting for companies like Nike, the Jordan brand, the NBA, both as on-camera talent, as well as like producing. And
well, I could see spot on. Great job. Yeah, tell me more.
Well, thank you, thank you. So at that point, that's when Deron was starting to kind of like cook on the idea of PlayersTV. And so essentially, you know, we had already had a great working relationship together. He knew I was the content guy, and I was kind of thinking about content from a different lens than kind of like the traditional Hollywood background where it's got to cost a gazillion dollars and the margins are super thin. And so, you know, we kind of came together, and we're definitely very much yin and yang. So that's been fun.
Well, I love this. I didn't have the benefit of understanding the legacy prior to co-founding PlayersTV, but it makes so much sense. This great dynamic that you guys have, and you know, Deron, tell me a little bit. I know you talked a bit about it in our first interview. PlayersTV, this vision. You know, I'm still in awe. 70+ professional athletes that are your shareholders, part of that franchise. Give me the vision and how you arrived there, because that's no easy lift.
Yeah, I think it was more of a timing thing. I thought a lot of athletes were looking to create production companies, but they didn't really have a distribution. So we saw this huge white space of like, if we can get in there and support these athletes, they can always have their own home to distribute their content and being able to monetize their content and connect with more fans. We thought we'd have a great win on our hands. So that's what we did, and we leaned into a white space that had a problem, and we solved it.
Yeah. Well, you solved it beautifully, and kudos. And as a fellow content creative media company, I am just a big fan of what you all are doing.
Oh, thank you.
So you left us with a cliffhanger last time.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, if you were here, Collin, it was like, hey, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this acquisition. No, I can't tell you now, right?
Cloak and dagger.
It was so well done. So we're back. Tell me about the acquisition. What happened? You completed. Where are we?
Yeah, number one, I wish there was a book on how to buy a company, but it's not a book on how to buy a company. But it was really amazing to go through the process of seeing opportunity with a company that can utilize our services at the right time. We needed them, they needed us at the right time. And I think what makes a good partnership is when both parties need each other to grow. And we were able to acquire an Adtech company that allowed us now to add to our current story of being the first ever athlete-owned media company that has media distribution and now technology now to be able to connect with more fans around the world at scale. So it was, the company's called CMC Cloud Media out of Jacksonville, Florida. And we were able to do our first acquisition. And I always say the hardest part of acquiring a company is the post-acquisition is the hardest.
The integration, right?
Afterwards.
That's the follow-on book of the acquisition, right? Yeah. It's the next one on integration. You know, Collin, talk to us a bit about our audience who doesn't know what Adtech is, what that means, and why it's so important within the framework of differentiating. So you continue to hit these first as PlayersTV, now the Adtech component. What does that mean for the business, and you know, what is Adtech?
Yeah, huge. I mean, first and foremost, it absolutely skyrockets our profit margin on advertising sales. So having that all in-house, having our own distribution network that we continue to build to even more robust, kind of heights than it was before has been huge. The piece that a lot of people don't understand about content media is there's a big difference between sponsored content and advertising sales. And so essentially a lot of times, brands will start, they'll try to get in the media space, and they'll kind of hit these one-off content sponsorships. And essentially that's great while it lasts, but it's definitely a hamster wheel that you got to get on, you got to keep running. The budgets generally are a lot lower. You might be getting, a $30,000 buy, a $50,000 buy, or whatever it is. But now, and especially with the advertising technology piece, we transact with advertising buyers where essentially you're getting $500,000 buys, $1 million buys, and essentially you're running their media across your network and not necessarily like, hey, this show's brought to you by whatever brand. And so for us, that was the biggest unlock. We saw this really big kind of clog in the funnel when it came to sports media of like, number one, where's it going to live? Is it just going to be on social? Is it going to be on YouTube or whatever? And there was really no actual monetization engine to go behind it. And so this advertising technology play allows us to connect with both the advertising agencies, also the brands at scale, and then really kind of distribute the content on an even further basis.
I'm taking some notes for myself, if you don't mind.
I want to add to that as well. So we also we're developing our own AI technology as well too.
Huge.
So we're really being able to come to advertising agencies, use our technology, and be able to connect with more audiences on a detailed, intimate level, and meet those fans where they are, mobile devices, TV devices, etc. And that's something that we really have access to now at scale beyond just our overall network. So we have a full 360 distribution model now to connect with more fans around the world at scale.
A Moment of Zen is sponsored by Fintech TV.
Fintech TV, the newest streaming channel focused exclusively on the business of blockchain, digital assets, and sustainability. Broadcasting from our studio on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with daily reports from NASDAQ, global expansion, and 24/7 coverage. Become part of the launch. Head to fintech.tv/invest. Fintech.tv/invest.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.